Hello and welcome to Coffee English. I'm Michael and I'm here to help you speak English naturally and confidently. Today we're going to talk about something very important. Something that affects every single English learner. How to keep your motivation high when learning English. How to find the energy to continue when things get difficult. How to push through those moments when you want to give up. This is probably one of the most important topics we can discuss. Because without motivation, even the best methods don't work. Without motivation, the best teachers can't help you. Without motivation, learning becomes impossible. So grab your coffee, tea, or any drink you enjoy, get comfortable, and let's dive deep into this topic. Let's begin. Have you ever noticed something interesting about learning English? When you start, everything feels exciting. You buy new books with beautiful covers. You download the latest apps on your phone. You tell your friends and family about your big plans. You imagine yourself speaking fluently in just a few months. You can almost taste the success. But then, after a few weeks, something strange happens. The excitement starts to fade. The books don't seem so interesting anymore. The apps feel boring and repetitive. Your friends stop asking about your progress. And those big dreams start to feel impossible. You begin to think, maybe I'm not good at languages. Maybe I'm too old to learn. Maybe English is just too difficult for me. You start missing your study sessions. First, you skip one day. Then 2 days. Then a whole week goes by. And slowly, quietly, you stop. Your English books collect dust. Your apps send you notifications that you ignore. And your dream of speaking English fluently gets pushed further and further away. This story sounds familiar, doesn't it? This happens to almost everyone who tries to learn English. It happened to me when I was learning Spanish and French. It happens to my students. It happens to people all around the world. But here's the good news. This cycle can be broken. You don't have to be stuck in this pattern forever. Today, I'm going to share with you the secrets of staying motivated. Not just for a few weeks, but for months and years. Until you reach your goal of speaking English fluently. Let me share with you 7 powerful strategies to keep your English motivation strong. These are not just theories. These are practical methods that work in real life. Strategy number 1, make English deeply personal. Most people study English for surface reasons. They say, I should learn English because it's important. Or my boss told me to improve my English. Or everyone speaks English these days. But these reasons are not strong enough. They come from outside pressure, not from inside desire. When things get difficult, external reasons disappear. But internal reasons, personal reasons, those stay with you forever. So let me ask you this question. What is your deep, personal reason for learning English? Not what others expect from you. Not what society tells you. What do you really want? Maybe you want to travel to different countries and connect with people from different cultures. Maybe you want to understand your favorite movies, songs, or books in their original language. Maybe you dream of studying at a university in an English-speaking country. Maybe you want to start an international business. Maybe you want to help other people from your country learn English. Maybe you have a personal story that drives you. Let me tell you about Maria, one of my students. She told me, "Michael, I want to learn English because my daughter moved to Canada. When she calls me, sometimes she speaks English with her friends, and I don't understand. I feel disconnected from her new life. I want to understand her world." That's a powerful, personal reason. That's the kind of reason that keeps you going when grammar feels impossible. That's the kind of reason that makes you study even when you're tired. Find your Maria's reason. Write it down on a piece of paper. Make it specific and emotional. Put it somewhere you can see it every day. Rate it when you feel like quitting. This personal connection will be your fuel when motivation runs low. Strategy number 2, understand the motivation cycle. Here's something most people don't know about motivation. Motivation is not constant. It goes up and down like waves in the ocean. Some days you feel excited about English. Some days you feel tired and frustrated. This is completely normal. The problem is that most people think something is wrong when motivation goes down. They think, "I must not really want to learn English. Maybe I should give up." But low motivation is just part of the learning process. Even professional athletes have days when they don't want to train. Even famous writers have days when they don't want to write. Even English teachers like me have days when we feel tired of English. The secret is not to have high motivation every day. The secret is to keep going even when motivation is low. How do you do this? You create systems, not just goals. You build habits that work even when you don't feel excited. For example, instead of saying, "I will study English for 2 hours every day," you say, "I will listen to one English song every morning while I drink my coffee." Instead of "I will read English books," you say, "I will read one paragraph of English every night before bed." Small, simple actions that don't require high motivation. Actions that you can do even on your worst days. These small actions add up over time. They create momentum. And momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Strategy number 3, celebrate micro-victories. Learning English is a long journey. Most people only celebrate big milestones. I'll celebrate when I pass my exam. I'll celebrate when I get that job. I'll celebrate when I'm fluent. But these big celebrations are months or years away. What about all the small progress you make every single day? If you don't celebrate small wins, you lose motivation. Your brain needs positive feedback to keep going. So here's what successful English learners do. They celebrate micro-victories. Did you understand one sentence in an English movie today? That's a victory. Did you remember a new word you learned last week? That's a victory. Did you speak English with someone for just 2 minutes? That's a victory. Did you study for only 10 minutes, but you actually did it? That's also a victory. These moments might seem small, but they're actually huge. They show that you're making progress. They prove that your English is improving. But only if you notice them and feel proud of them. I recommend keeping a victory journal. Every evening, write down 3 small English victories from that day. Even tiny ones count. I learned the word delicious today. I understood what the cashier said to me. I practiced pronunciation for 5 minutes. When you write these down, your brain starts to look for more victories. You become more aware of your progress. You feel more confident and motivated to continue. Strategy number 4, build a support community. Learning English alone is like climbing a mountain by yourself. It's possible, but it's much harder and more dangerous. When you learn with other people, everything becomes easier. You share the weight of difficult moments. You celebrate victories together. You learn from each other's mistakes. You motivate each other to keep going. But here's the important part. You need the right kind of community. Not just any group of people. You need people who understand your struggles. People who are on a similar journey. People who support you instead of judging you. Where can you find these people? You can look for English learning groups in your city. You can join online communities and forums. You can find language exchange partners. You can even start your own study group with friends or colleagues. But remember, the best communities have these qualities. They encourage each other instead of competing. They share resources and help each other. They understand that everyone learns at different speeds. They celebrate each other's progress, no matter how small. Let me tell you about Ahmed, another one of my students. He joined an online English learning group 6 months ago. At first, he was very shy and rarely participated. But slowly, he started sharing his challenges. Other members gave him advice and encouragement. He began helping newer members with questions he had already figured out. This made him feel valuable and confident. Now, even on days when he doesn't feel motivated, he studies because he doesn't want to disappoint his online friends. The community became his source of external motivation when internal motivation was low. Strategy number 5, transform learning into lifestyle. Most people think of English learning as a separate activity, like going to the gym or taking a cooking class. Something you do for a specific time, in a specific place. But the most successful English learners do something different. They integrate English into their daily life. They make English part of who they are, not just what they do. This is a game changer because it removes the burden of finding time to study. English becomes natural, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. How do you do this? Start with one small change in your routine. Change your phone settings to English. You look at your phone dozens of times per day anyway. Now each time you see English words, messages, settings, camera, photos, your brain absorbs these words without effort. Listen to English podcasts while you exercise, cook, or commute. You're doing these activities anyway. Now you're also improving your English. Think in English about what you're doing. I'm making coffee. The weather is nice today. I need to buy groceries. These thoughts happen anyway. Now they happen in English. Watch English videos about your hobbies and interests. If you love cooking, watch cooking videos in English. If you enjoy sports, watch sports news in English. If you're interested in technology, follow tech channels in English. You're already interested in these topics. Now you're learning English through your passions. This approach works because it doesn't feel like studying. It feels like living your life in English. And when something becomes part of your lifestyle, motivation is not required. You just do it naturally. Strategy number 6. Reframe failure and mistakes. Here's a truth that might surprise you. The biggest motivation killer is not difficulty. It's not lack of time. It's not even laziness. The biggest motivation killer is fear of making mistakes. Most English learners are perfectionists. They want to speak without errors. They want to understand everything they hear. They want to write perfect sentences. But when they make mistakes, they feel ashamed. They think, I'm not good at this. I'll never learn English properly. Maybe I should quit before I embarrass myself more. This perfectionist thinking destroys motivation faster than anything else. But here's what successful learners understand. Mistakes are not signs of failure. Mistakes are signs of progress. Every mistake means you tried something new. Every mistake teaches you something important. Every mistake brings you closer to fluency. Native speakers make mistakes too. I make mistakes in English, and it's my profession. Children make thousands of mistakes when learning their first language. But they don't get embarrassed or quit. They keep trying, keep playing, keep learning. You need to become like a child again. Curious instead of careful. Playful instead of perfect. Experimental instead of exact. When you make a mistake, don't think I'm bad at English. Think I'm learning English. When you don't understand something, don't think, this is too hard for me. Think, this is my next challenge to overcome. When someone corrects you, don't feel embarrassed. Feel grateful that someone helped you improve. This shift in thinking changes everything. Fear becomes excitement. Shame becomes curiosity. Obstacles become opportunities. And when you're not afraid of mistakes, you practice more. When you practice more, you improve faster. When you improve faster, you feel more motivated. It's a positive cycle that feeds itself. Strategy number 7. Create compelling future vision. The final strategy is perhaps the most powerful. Most people focus on their current problems with English. I can't understand movies. I make too many grammar mistakes. I'm too shy to speak. My pronunciation is terrible. This focus on problems creates negative emotions, and negative emotions kill motivation. Instead, successful learners focus on their future self. They create a clear, compelling vision of who they will become. They imagine themselves speaking English confidently. They picture themselves traveling the world, making international friends. They see themselves succeeding in their career because of their English skills. They visualize themselves helping others learn English. This future vision becomes their North Star. It guides them through difficult moments. It reminds them why they started this journey. It gives them energy to continue when things get tough. But here's the key. Your vision must be specific and emotional. Not just, I want to speak English well, but I want to give a presentation in English at an international conference and feel proud of myself. Not just, I want to understand movies, but I want to watch my favorite movie with my English-speaking friend and laugh together at the funny parts. Not just, I want to travel, but I want to have deep conversations with locals in different countries and learn about their cultures. Write down your vision in detail. Make it vivid and emotional. Read it regularly. Update it as your dreams grow bigger. Use this vision as motivation fuel when your energy runs low. In every episode of Coffee English Channel, I like to share one useful phrase that you can use in your daily conversations. This helps you learn practical English that native speakers actually use. Now, let me share with you today's phrase for this lesson. Today's phrase is, at the end of the day. This phrase is very common in English conversation. Native speakers use it all the time in both formal and informal situations. At the end of the day means when everything is considered or what really matters is. It's used when you want to focus on the most important point. Let me give you some examples in the context of English learning. I know grammar is important, but at the end of the day, communication matters most. You might feel frustrated sometimes, but at the end of the day, you're making progress every single day. There are many English learning methods, but at the end of the day, consistency is what brings results. People might judge your accent, but at the end of the day, you're learning English for yourself, not for them. Practice using this phrase in your own sentences. Think about situations in your life where you can use, at the end of the day. This will help you sound more natural and fluent in English conversations. Let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed today. We talked about 7 powerful strategies to maintain your English learning motivation. First, make English deeply personal by finding your true, emotional reason for learning. Second, understand that motivation naturally goes up and down, and build systems that work even on low motivation days. Third, celebrate micro-victories every single day to give your brain positive feedback. Fourth, build a supportive community of fellow learners who understand your journey. Fifth, Transform English learning from an activity into a lifestyle by integrating it into your daily routines. 6. Reframe mistakes as learning opportunities instead of signs of failure. And 7th, create a compelling vision of your future English-speaking self. Now, I want you to take action. Don't just listen to this podcast and forget about it. Choose one strategy that resonated with you the most. Just one. And commit to implementing it this week. Maybe you'll write down your personal reason for learning English. Maybe you'll join an online English learning community. Maybe you'll change your phone settings to English. Maybe you'll start a victory journal. Whatever you choose, start today. Small actions create big changes over time. I also want to ask you some questions. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to staying motivated? What strategy from today's episode sounds most helpful for your situation? What is your personal, emotional reason for learning English? Write your answers in the comments below. I read every single comment, and I often reply personally. Your story might inspire other learners who are facing similar challenges. If this episode helped you, please give it a like. This helps other English learners find this content. Share it with a friend who is also learning English. Sometimes we all need a reminder about why we started this journey. And don't forget to subscribe to Coffee English channel for more episodes like this one. We publish new episodes every week, covering different aspects of English learning. Remember, learning English is not just about grammar and vocabulary. It's about persistence, patience, and motivation. You have everything you need to succeed. You just need to believe in yourself and keep moving forward. One day at a time. One small step at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Thank you for choosing to invest in yourself and your English learning journey. Remember, every day you study English, you get a little bit better. Even when you don't feel it, you're growing. Even when progress seems slow, you're moving forward. Even when motivation is low, you're building the habit of learning. Keep practicing and stay motivated. You've got this. I believe in you. See you in the next episode of Coffee English Channel. Until then, keep brewing your English skills. Bye for now.